Most big companies these days aren't just running one transformation. Nope, they're juggling dozens of portfolios, hundreds of initiatives, and literally thousands of projects all at the same time. The real challenge isn't a lack of activity, not at all. It's structuring all of that work so it actually connects back to the strategy and, delivers real results. Okay, let's dive into this and see how you can engineer your portfolio for success.
So here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll look at what I call the transformation tangle, something most companies are stuck in. Then we'll introduce a totally new way to think about it, a structural backbone. From there, we'll see how that gives you structure, connection, and control, even at a massive scale. Then we'll talk about turning all that data into smart decisions, and finally, we'll look at the ultimate payoff of getting this right.
All right, so let's start with the core problem. It's this huge gap between all the work being done and the actual outcomes you're trying to hit. I want you to think about your own organization for a second. Does it ever feel like everyone is just incredibly busy, but the needle isn't really moving on the big strategic goals? That feeling right there? That's a classic sign of a tangled up portfolio. Now, what's really interesting here is how familiar these symptoms probably feel. You've got these fragmented initiatives where nobody's quite sure who's in charge. You've got duplicated programs that are basically competing with each other, different teams using completely different ways to get things done. And the result? You have no real idea where the money is going or if you're getting any real benefits. It makes trying to scale your transformation almost impossible. And this quote just hits the nail on the head. If your projects aren't directly tied to your business model, your value chain, and where you're trying to go with your target operating model, you're just creating busy work. So making that connection is absolutely everything.
Okay, so this brings us to a fundamentally different way of thinking. This isn't about just another project management tool. No way. This is about building a whole new structural backbone for your entire enterprise transformation.
So instead of thinking about a flat list of projects, I want you to picture your portfolio as the central spine that everything else connects to. It's the thing that links that high-level vision from the boardroom directly to the teams who are actually doing the work. And this slide right here, this is the aha moment. This is how it all fits together. You start with your big picture business model and value chain. That tells you what your future operating model needs to look like. The portfolio then becomes the engine for making that model a reality, breaking it all down into specific change activities. See? It's a seamless, connected cascade from top to bottom. The real power in this approach is that every single level is linked. Nothing exists in a silo anymore. And that means you have a clear, traceable line of sight from a single task all the way up to the huge strategic goal it supports. So with that backbone firmly in place, let's see how it lets us manage immense, almost overwhelming complexity with total clarity, even at a massive enterprise scale. And we're talking about a truly massive scale here. Not just one portfolio, but dozens. Not a handful of initiatives, but hundreds. Thousands of projects, all spread across different business units, functions, and platforms. This is the messy reality for modern companies, and your structure has to be able to handle it. So how do you manage all that complexity consistently? Well, it starts with this number. That's right, over 400 foundational assets. Think of them like proven, pre-built building blocks for transformation. We're talking about everything from templates for your value chain and operating model to standardized risk logs and communication plans that keep everyone on the same page. It's about building with proven parts instead of starting from scratch every single time. This slide really drives it home. By using these central shared assets, you guarantee consistency across the board. You're not starting from a blank page every time a new project kicks off. This creates that single source of truth, making sure everyone is working from the same playbook, which is absolutely critical if you want to scale with confidence. Now, having a great structure is one thing, but the real magic happens when you use that structure to turn all that raw data into intelligent insights that help you make way better decisions. This is what leadership gets to see: a high-level, clean, comprehensive view across every single portfolio. You can instantly see performance, track the money, assess risks, and make smart, data-driven decisions about where to invest next. Say goodbye to manual reporting and spreadsheet chaos. And of course, you can drill down. This is the Portfolio Management Intelligence Dashboard. It pulls everything together into real-time reports on budgets, timelines, and status. So project managers get the detail they need, and executives get the rolled-up summary they need. And it's all coming from the exact same live data.
And it goes way beyond just reporting what's already happened. AI is baked right in to give you predictive insights. It can help you intelligently prioritize projects, run what-if scenarios to see the ripple effects of a change, and even predict potential risks and resource bottlenecks before they become real problems.
So, what does all of this actually get you? Let's talk about the real-world, tangible payoff.
On the business side, the outcomes are crystal clear. You deliver more value faster. In fact, we've seen companies launch up to a staggering 50% more projects on time, just because they're using standardized, proven methods. You eliminate all that wasteful, duplicated work. And on the operational side, you get centralized governance, consistent delivery, and best practices built right in that make the whole machine just run smoother.
Ultimately, this is the entire point. To engineer your transformation portfolio so it stops being a random collection of projects and becomes a well-oiled machine where your core strategy flows seamlessly into execution and delivers actual results.
And this just says it all, doesn't it? You can finally take on massive, complex change with absolute clarity and scale that change across your entire organization with real confidence. So, I'll leave you with this one question to think about. Is your organization's portfolio just a list of activities, or is it truly engineered for success?